Hello and welcome to the October update for OpenMarch. This one's a special one because this is the first update that I am doing that is going to have an installer accompanied with it. So I want to get through the features that I've made through very quickly because I usually ramble on these things, but I want to get through the features, and I also kind of want to take a step back and go through what the process of what I envision using OpenMarch is going to be like. I'm very excited for a lot of the progress we've made because we've gotten a few more people on board with helping. There is a front-end guy who reached out to me, and he's been doing great work, Jacob. We have Ben doing a lot of our graphic design. And that's been super helpful. If anyone watching or anyone who's already like in the Discord wants to help, please, I could always use more help. So let me just hop right into it. First thing, we'll hop right into it. I'll show you the features, and then if you want to stick around for my rants, you can do that. So we're gonna create a new October. Can you type October update dots? So when you're greeted into OpenMarch, you kind of have this blank canvas here. You just need to do two things. You need to create marchers. Let's say we have like 20 baritones. Great. And then you need pages. Let's say we have 4 pages with 8 counts. Great. Actually, let's do 5. Perfect. So you create pages, you create marchers. That's all you need to start. You'll notice all of the marchers are in the corner over here. This is just 100, 100. It's just a default coordinate, nothing special about it. So you're like, crap, I want to get all these marchers distributed so I can start doing something with them. All you need to do is click one marcher. We have 20, right? Click one marcher, kind of drag it over, and then press Control A to select all marchers, or you can hold Shift and drag to select, and then you're going to click this button up here, which says Evenly Distribute Marchers. You can also do that with Shift H for horizontal distribution. Now, what we've done there is, this isn't like a set, but it means now we have access to each of our individual marchers. This isn't really going to be the final way that we do this. It's just how we're going to do it right now. And let's say we're going to start here. If you'd like, there's a few other things you can do. You can lock the X and Y axis. So by pressing, if you look at these things up here, it toggles what axis is available. You can press X and Z. So in this case, the Y axis is locked. And if I press X, there you go, the X axis is locked. That's very useful for things, as you can imagine. But look, we kind of have like our marchers are kind of spread all over the place. So let's just make sure they're all aligned in one line. You can align vertically with Alt-V for align vertically. And then great. If you've been following for a while, this is nothing new. So here's what is new. You can create a line just kind of in this way that I told you, but let's say I really want to create a diagonal, and if I wanted to create a diagonal, I could do it like this and something like that, and that's technically a diagonal, but it's not very intuitive, and I wouldn't really expect people to do stuff like that. So let's say we want to have these 20 marchers span the 25-yard line to the 25-yard line to the 25-yard line, here to here. All we need to do is either Control A or Shift Select, click Create Line, click where you want them to go, and then I'm not holding the mouse button right now. I just clicked it once, and then click it again. Now you'll see a lot of these fancy lines show up. Nothing has happened yet. All that is happening right now is OpenMarch is telling you these are where these marchers are about to go. And once you're like, yep, this looks good, this is where I want them to go, you just click Apply, and then they're there. If you're like, man, I don't think I liked that, you can just undo, and then boom. Or you can redo if you did like it. Now, there are some other cool things about this. So this is page 1. Let's go to page 2. We can either press E and Q, or we can just go to the next page by clicking this. Our marchers are gone. That's another quirk that I haven't really solved yet, or that's another quirk of the user interaction that I haven't solved yet. But all you need to do is either press select set all to previous page. That's also Control Shift P, or set selected to previous page. Set all just sets all the marchers to the previous page. And you can do that throughout every page. It doesn't automatically update because I was kind of assuming that people, like, if you edited a marcher in a prior page, you wouldn't want it to affect the other page, and I haven't really figured out like a nice way to do that. So we have all of our marchers evenly distributed like this. Now we're on page 2. What if I'm like, okay, I have this. I want half of the marchers to go to a vertical line this way and half to go to a vertical line the other way. Well, I could be like, okay, I'm going to do this and drag them all. Or we have this line feature. Just select all the marchers that you'd like. You can either press create line or just L. Click where you want them to go. Let's say we're going to put them on the 35s. And it'll be here. And you'll notice also that this is rounding to the nearest step. It's not a fine adjustment. If you wanted it to be a fine adjustment, you just have to hold shift, and then it is. But by default, it's just that. So let's say we want them to go from 2 steps behind the back hash to on the front hash. That looks good, but what if I wanted it to rotate the other way? And in fact, actually, I changed my mind. I say that a lot. If you change your mind, you can either press cancel here, or you can press escape, and then it just goes away. And conveniently, all the marchers that you selected just get reselected. So you can just be like, okay, I'm going to create a new line, and I'm going to try again. So let's say I want to instead make a diagonal that converges at the 50-yard line, like this. It'll be something like that. Now, if you look, this isn't really what I want. Like it's about to go. This marcher is going to go over here. This it's in reverse. I don't want this. Very simple solution to this. Although this is a cool pattern. Basically, the way it's trying to figure out the path is it's like a very simple algorithm. It's nothing too complex, but you can adjust it. All you need to do is move each marcher close to where you want to go. It doesn't have to be exact. So this marcher should go here, there, 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 there. The marcher line decides, based on the angle and the slope of the line, whether it should sort the marchers based on their vertical coordinate or their horizontal coordinate. In this case, it was one of the cases where it was wrong, and it clearly went through its horizontal coordinate first, and that's how it decided it. So whenever the line is wrong like that, you can just manually adjust it, press Enter, and you're golden. Now let's do the same thing with this line. But I want this line, let's say they're going to have 2 parallel lines. Oh no, let's make 2 parallel lines. This is going to be difficult drill. That was the wrong button. And then it's going to be something like this. I think this is what I wanted. Looks right. And boom. Now, if we see, this is page 1, this is page 2, page 3. We have to reset again. Just do that. Set all selected to previous page. Now, the keen-eyed among you who've been watching this for a while might have noticed this is a high school football field. OpenMarch, until this point, has only supported college football fields, not because I think they're common, just because it's what I'm familiar with. This is because you can change it at any time you want. Click the settings, and we have this thing called field type. You can barely see it on YouTube, sorry. There you go. That's better. You have 6 options. You have high school, college, pro, with end zones, or without end zones. So let's be like, I didn't mean to be writing this. I write for a drum corps, or I write for a college band. Just click college football field, apply, and that's it. Now it's a college football field. Let's look at, for example, let's put this B7 guy on the hash. You see his coordinates here on the 45, blah, blah, blah. Well, what happens when we switch to high school? Look at his coordinates on the left. Now it's 4 in front. It dynamically changes. Same thing with pro. Dynamically changes. Now, one kind of exception to this is not exception, but some interesting behavior is that I need to fix. All of the coordinates in OpenMarch are based off of the top left point in the canvas. So when you change the size of the canvas, i.e. adding end zones, the position of the marchers isn't maintained in a way that you would expect it would be. So if I switch to, let's say, high school with end zones you get this warning. Changing the field type to a different size will lead to different marcher coordinates. So let's pay attention to this B11 guy here. He's on the 50-yard line. I'm going to apply this new field that has end zones. And you see now, oh, great, we have this end zone here, but B11's on the 40 now. You haven't lost any of your information. If you wanted to do this and you decided you wanted your whole show to be in end zones after you started writing, currently it'd be a bit annoying. I think I'm going to try and base it off the 50. But if you're like, oh crap, I didn't want to do that, you can just set it back and then boom. Nothing was changed. And that's currently the best solution I have to that right now, but it should be something that I could fix pretty easily. I just don't think it's a high caliber issue. My choice to make you have the option of having the end zones versus not was because I wasn't sure. Some people might, I don't write a lot of drill. Some people might be like, I need the end zones. I use those all the time for my band. And some people might be like, I never use the end zones. My band is like 40 people. Why would I ever do that? And you can kind of look like when you have the end zones and you don't want them, like it's kind of a gigantic canvas compared to when you don't have them. Like I would prefer this if I was just doing that. Okay. Another quirky thing or small thing that I changed is you see these things, these check boxes. You can just choose to have the grid lines or the half lines if you choose to. So if you're like, I don't really need that division by 4, you can do that. Or if you're like, I just want a clean look to watch the drill that I've made, you can do that. It should be pretty easy to put a background on the field or change it green. I just haven't done that yet. Let me think. Is there anything else I'm missing? I don't know if this works that well. You can still export to an individual sheet. That has varying success right now. You can still make music. One thing I do need to do, you can import your own music XML file that you would create for MuseScore or something like that, but you can't manually add measures yet. That's something I think I need to add pretty soon. That's like a non-negotiable for next month. But yeah, so that's all I have as far as new features. I'm gonna go on a rant in a couple seconds with why I made the decisions I did about this update. If you're not interested, you can tune off in 1 second. Like I said, there will be an installer in the video description for this update if you want to go ahead and try it. Big asterisk on this. This is not by stable, I mean not everything is tested. I think I have horrendous coverage. I try my best, but I haven't written as much tests as I'd like to. You may get a warning that on Windows and on Mac that this potentially might be dangerous. I need to figure out the code signing process. There's basically a process when you're releasing software that you need to sign your code to prove to Microsoft or Mac, or I don't know how it works with Linux, that you're not delivering malware in the code that you're delivering. It's like a whole authentication thing, and it costs money. So I need to figure that out. But yeah, if you're on Mac, you should be able to right click it and then press get info and then open, or just right click and then press open, and it should be fine. On Windows, I think you just have to ignore the error or something. I know it's sketchy, but that's kind of what I got right now. Yeah, okay. So rant. You may recall, if you were watching last month's update, that the marcher lines were going to persist across pages. Originally, the idea I had was that marcher lines were going to be this permanent object that was going to be stored, not permanent, but static, and it was going to be in the database and persist across pages. The reason I thought this was good was because that meant that you could have drill design based purely on lines and purely on shapes eventually. But what I found was that, like, with the way that I've currently written a lot of the code, it just didn't. It was adding a lot of like next steps that I had to do that I wasn't really ready to do right now. There was a lot of major design decisions that I had to change and things I needed to figure out to make something like that work in a way that was clean and not clunky. And if you recall from the README that I have, one of the key things that OpenMarch is trying to do is to stay simple. What you're seeing right now, the way we create lines, I'm going to probably eventually call like quick shapes or something like that. This looks good. There we go. I'm probably going to eventually call this like a quick shape, and then a permanent marcher line is going to be called like a static shape or a persistent shape. And persistent shapes will have a lot more like you could edit them afterwards. They might show up in here, and you can be like, edit this, redistribute marchers, change the interval, all of that. But currently, I think for a quick and dirty line, which is and also eventually a curve, like I think this is better. And also for things like boxes, like maybe you're not interested in having like a whole group. You're just like, I want this to be in a curve right now. Maybe I'm off base. Maybe this is stupid. If you think that this is useful, like you can use these lines to make boxes. Like I could, oh my gosh, that's broken. That shouldn't be like that. You can use these lines to make boxes. It's not the best thing ever, but neither is OpenMarch. But eventually, like, there might be a quick circle, a quick box, a quick custom shape of some sort. And then there might eventually be something where, like, you can assign a tag to a marcher and, like, say, it's this group ID, or select all baritones and create a line off of that. But there's a lot of perceptions and ideas that I have in my head. But once I'm trying to put it, like code it and put it into like what the actual user experience is going to be, that's where I run into a bit of challenge. And so what I'd really like, before I put all my eggs in one basket with that, I'd rather get some feedback on OpenMarch as a whole before I decide what the best solution is. So I'm kind of trying to find the lowest hanging fruit to make this as quick and as like complete of a drill writing software as possible. And once people have used it and once I've gotten feedback, then I'm going to be like, okay, now we're going to sink our teeth into this and figure out how can we make people write drill faster. Another idea I had, just spitballing, is this high school I work at. One of the assistant band directors, she was telling me, she is the middle school director, but she was telling me, she was like, why are the step sizes in like blank to 5? I'm like, oh, well, it's, if it's like a 23 to 5, you'd have to take 23 steps to get like across a yard line. And she's like, well, how is that useful to a student? And I'm like, it's a great point. I'm not really sure why we do that like this. So there may be something like eventually, like maybe we'll have step size in feet, and maybe we'll have coordinates based on yards. Like, do we really need to have 8 to 5s if we can just have like you're 1 yard off the yard line, you're 2 yards off the yard line, things like that. So yeah. I think that is it. I have a lot of other ideas. We're going, my big plan right now, I think if I was going to do one more thing in 0.3, it would be to add adding your own measures thing, adding maybe a quick curve that you can do. Like there's a website I saw where you can make a curve in Fabric.js. And then there is, I think in 0.4, what I really want to do is subsets, and not like I can make a subset right now. Like if I made page 4 counts, and then I made a subset, like I could have, I would have 4A. But like the thing is that 4A currently isn't halfway between 4 and 5. And if there was like a quick button, like where you could go like based on counts, like hold shift and then maybe go by count, that would like allow for things like custom pathways, and that'd be pretty easy. So that might be my next thing in 0.0.4. But yes, please check out the installer. If it doesn't work for you, please let me know. If you find any bugs, please post them on GitHub as an issue. Don't feel free to email me if you'd like. My email for this project is contact@openmarch.com. And yeah, I'm always open for more tips or more advice or people that'd like to help out in any way. We need lots of help. Okay, that is all. I will see you in November. Wow.